Turn 4 for Salerno 43. The Germans have a few less reinforcements this turn, mostly a couple of 29th Panzer Grenadier divisions or battalions there, one Panzers, one mobile infantry Panzer Grenadier unit, and then up at the top here, Hermann Goering division, get another Panzer unit. New to this turn is replacements. That's signified by the small boxes on the turn track, which you might just be able to see just sort of here above the yellow line. This turn that indicates a special replacement, and over on the player aid card we can see that a special is all of these types of units here, so the core ASUs, the Fallschirmjäger units, glider infantry, that kind of thing. Specials of course can be used instead of infantry should we not have any specials in the eliminated box. You can rebuild units if you've got a step loss. So for example here you could flip that over, but because it's adjacent to another enemy unit you can't actually do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the opportunity to bring on the reconnaissance unit for the Hermann Goering division, and you can put this on essentially with a reinforcement area, or you can put it on with an ASU that's not adjacent to something. So I'm just going to place it next to its core ASU just there, or its divisional ASU rather. So now we have the town of Salerno nicely supported with the Hermann Goering division. Reinforcements wise, I think that's everything done. We just need to roll for the weather, doing this slightly out of sequence, but the weather we have a 4 moving forward 1 space, and the Germans do finally get some air support, which is fantastic. Okay, the British units are not available, neither are the American air units, but they do have the naval units, both of which are currently available anyways. Supply point wise, we get 1 for the Allies and 2 for the Germans. Okay, cool. That's all done. Into the initial phase I talked about replacements and reinforcements. We can spend some of those ASUs as the German side. Sorry, we can flip some of those ASUs with supply points, so I'll take that opportunity to do that there. That will cost 1 with the 14th Panzer ASU. I think that's pretty much it for the German side. So let's think about what we can do for our movement phase. And starting from the bottom, I think they're just off shot at the moment. We do have those 2 29th Panzer Grenadier units. They're both mobile, so they can move quite far and fast. And I think what I'll try and do is I'll bring them up this little minor road here to block off the advancing 36th Division there for the Americans. Not quite in attacking range, but they're close enough to prevent quick movement down here by those infantry units. And underneath there we do actually have a tank unit with the 36th, so that's probably a good place to leave those. No movement here. I don't really want to move the 16th Panzers. They're blocking easy access by the 36th Division into the town or the port of Agropoli, which is a VP hex, so that's kind of going to stay where it is for now. Now the question is, do I move the Panzers here, the 29th Panzer Division, to come and join their colleagues? That is a VP hex under there in Alta Via Silentia. But if I could move something along this path here, could potentially prevent or hold up some of this inevitable advance from the Allies, but that would leave this path free. So I'm not too sure what to do. We are out of support range here for the ASU, so that is a bit tricky. But I think what I'll do is I'll leave the 29th. And let's leave those there. We are leaving this space here open. The Allies can just drive down here potentially. But when you kind of come down here, you've kind of got like a it's a little bit off map at the moment, but there's just another gap between the mountains just here. So you kind of either have to come down and along where we are, or you have to come down and up. There is a VP hex here at Ulita, and we will have further reinforcements next turn, so it's unlikely the Allies will get all the way down here and then up next turn, which meaning we can push on some of those reinforcements for the Germans in turn 5. Okay, let's leave that where it is, but what I will do is I will bring this unit here. I kind of want to support this region. This looks quite, this Boli here. This is another VP hex. It's a city. It's only got 16th Panzer AS unit at the moment. All the other units around there are quite stuck, shall we say. So I'm kind of wanting to bring in some kind of combat unit to support that city. We also have this kind of city battle here, which is the town of Batiplagia. That's going to be quite difficult to defend, I think, coming into the next turn. So we may have to cut our losses a little bit there. I could, of course, what I could do, I could try to attack. I could try to attack into the beachheads, but at the moment, I'm trying like a VP point denial kind of strategy for the Germans more than that aggressive advance. I think the time for that was in turn 1 or even turn 2. Now you reach this point, you're a bit a little bit stuck. But having said that, once the Allies do get their infantry up here, they will benefit from the buff of the hilly terrain. So what may be worth doing is use this reconnaissance unit, although it's relatively weak, to come round here to try and stop them getting onto the hilly terrain, or at least delay that. Because once they're on the hilly terrain, it's going to be very hard to get them off it, the Allies that is, as the German player. So let me think about how to best to do this. Possibly this one is slightly stronger, the 71st on the 29th Panzer Grenadiers. If I come round, that's going to be a third of a point, 1 1/3, 2 1/3, 3 1/3, and then there would be 4 1/3, which is within its movement limit. So let's go down and round. That will then stop them jumping up onto the hills quite so easily. Maybe delay them by a turn. I don't know. Maybe. With that in mind then, but I kind of still want to keep this space clear in case the Allies on the Commonwealth side come this way. Although they'll be delayed a little bit by the need to go across the bridges. But let's just push that up a bit into the Ponte Sella there. Okay, that's cool. So that's everything down here moved. Moving up to this section, we've got some 15th Panzer Grenadiers there. We have a disrupted 16th Panzer's Grenadiers. So the disrupted unit can do tactical movement, I believe, but they're pretty ineffective. They can't attack, defensive strength is halved, cannot be the lead unit in determined defence, cannot receive replacements. So yeah, they're kind of a bit stuck. Now they are reasonably good unit, they're an elite unit. They have a full 2 steps remaining, even though they're disrupted. So it's kind of, do I need them there and hope they can withstand that attack by the Allies there, by the Commonwealth, the almost inevitable attack? Or do I push them back using the basically they can go here. They go across using the movement, but then they'd have to stop after crossing the mountains. Interesting. But if I do that, then the tanks can come straight down that road towards the relatively weaker unit there with the ASU. Okay, let's leave those there. That's a long-winded way of talking myself out of doing anything with that unit. They can't move. The naval warfare unit there is going to stay put to support these. Panzer Grenadiers from the 16th, and the Panzers outside Salerno. That's a powerful unit combination right there. Between them, they've got 11 defensive points plus 8 attacking points, a tank shift. They are quite a powerful unit, but they're kind of just stopping them, the Allies going through Salerno at the moment. They're not really doing anything. Is that the best unit to leave there? I don't know. A bit tricky to know how to do anything with that one. Okay, let's leave that there as well, just to stop any push out from Salerno. I'm kind of trying to hem them in, you know. The units up here, do we attack into the Sierra and Fury? If we do, we're going to need some more units in. The replacements, they should have a replacement counter on them, which basically limits what they can do. Here we go, yeah. Those replacements we put on should have this, which basically means they can't combat and they can only move 1 hex. So I'll just pop that on next to that just to remind myself. Appreciate it's just at the top of the screen there. So these guys here won't move. But what I will do is that Hermann Göring Panzer Division, I think I will bring it down and get it as close as possible to here. So let's bring that down. Bring it down this road here. So it'll be 1, 2, and then into the town. Okay, so that's pretty strong. That stack just there. Potential to attack into that Ranger Commando unit. Okay, that is movement done. Let's think about combat. Combat again is going to be relatively limited, I think. I mean, in a way we need to attack as the Germans, but we risk getting battered, frankly, because we have relatively weak units attacking relatively big units. We do have the air power. The air power combined with the ASUs might do the trick. Where do we want to attack though? I mean, this spot here is a divisional ASU, which is undefended. Let's attack there for sure. Definitely attack there. We could even potentially attack here. That's going to have a defensive of 5. Could potentially chuck in that unit there, that naval unit as support. Equally here, but then we could attack down with just 2. Well, that's a bit rubbish. Okay. Let's think about where else we can attack before committing. Nothing here. There's no point trying to attack out of there with those 2 panzers. They are holding on to that hex with grim death. So the Rangers. Yes, I think I will attack with the Rangers, and I will also attack with this unit here. May not do very well, but we can at least try. So let's do that one first. It's likely to be a bit easier to do. So we're attacking with 4. The ASU is alone in that hex, so it is going to be defending at a strength of 1. Normally they would not have any defensive strength, but it is defending with 1. And so that's going to be a straight up 4-1 in clear terrain. And there's nothing the defender can put in to support that. Can't put in the Navy. Actually, that's just the determined defense, isn't it? And they can't put in anything from the units around them. I think it would make sense to do that with a buff, just to make sure we can maybe even kill that ASU unit and take the take the victory point for it, because you get victory points for killing the ASUs as the Germans. So that's going to be 4-1, 5-1. Nothing else to put in there. I won't use my air support. I'll save that for something else. So rolling on a 5-1, we have a 2. That's pretty diabolical, quite frankly. The reason that's pretty diabolical is both sides lose a step selected by the opposing player. Defender must either retreat and become disrupted or conduct a determined defense. The attacker may advance 2 hexes. Now, losing a step for the ASU means it is removed, which is going to be a point. Now, to deny the allies a further point, I would have to advance after combat with the Panzer Grenadier unit. Of course, that is itself weakened. If I put those Panzer Grenadiers in there, they're going to get smashed next turn. Just double check the rules for advance after combat, because we have a zone of control into a zone of control of the same unit, plus it's a hex bond, and apparently according to this, the only time you can actually enter those areas is when you are entering a defender's vacated hex. So we're okay. We are okay to advance after combat. We can't go more than 2, but we can at least go in here and deny the VP from the allies. Excellent. So that's a 2 VP to the good for ourselves. Question is, do we try breakthrough combat? Would that be sensible? Because we've had our 1 action into the defending hex. Now I believe that is actually a free action, and we can conduct breakthrough combat. Okay. That would be the breakthrough group. We would attack one of the beachheads, obviously. And the question is, would that be worthwhile right now, given my unit's likely to be defeated very soon afterwards? I think it could be. Okay, I've just checked the rules, and with beachheads, they have a defensive strength of 2, plus half of anything that's adjacent to it and the German unit attacking. So we would be attacking with a 2, we would be attacking with 2, defending on a 2, and then, wow, probably an additional 3, so it would actually be a 1 to 2. We could put in this plus the air, which would flip that potentially. Okay, so that would bring it up to a 2 to 1. Oh, I think that's worth trying. Let's try that. Okay, so attacking into the beachhead. Let's just see which beachhead would be the best to attack. So that, oh, that's really strong. Okay, so I think we're going to attack into here. It's going to be 2 plus the 3 from this stack, which will be 1 to 3, because that'll be 5, so that'll be 1 to 2, and then 1 to 1 using the support as well will make it 2 to 1 on the beach against the beachhead, and let's hope for the best. That's a 4 on a 2 to 1, which is A1 DR2. Attacker loses a step. Defender must retreat 2 hexes or become disrupted, or conduct a determined defense. Okay, so we lose a step, so the attacker is dead. That's annoying, but we have at least still got that VP. Marker is ours currently. Obviously, I will not worry about that right now. Can beachheads conduct determined defenses? That is a good question. It can. The beachhead can conduct a determined defense, which we will do. And we'll flip over the Navy support to try and buff whatever roll we get, because we're basically going off the board, and if we're not careful here. And so that's a 6 plus the 1 for the support. That's a 7 on the beach. It's about as good as you can get. Okay, a 7 is a 1 step loss and a step loss, and then a hold. Okay, it can't take a step loss, so it is gone. The beachhead has been destroyed, which is another VP towards the good for the Germans. Okay, that's a shocking blow for the American side there. Okay, that is, yeah, not cool for the Americans at all. Is it worth trying to press home that advantage here with this one? No, I don't think so. I think that's too strong. So that brings us up the top with the attacking force into Nociera Inferiore, where the Rangers are. We have the attacking strength of 5 plus the 1 plus 2, that is 8. attacking into a city, which is going to be a defending of 8 as well, so it's a 1-to-1. That would just be an extra point. So it's a 1-to-1. No elite shift because they cancel each other out. No tank shift because of the city. I will flip over the Nebelwerfer, which has a range of 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we're good for that. And this, so it's 1-to-1, 2-to-1, 3-to-1 in the city. Rolling. That's a 5 on a 3-to-1. It's an A1D1, advance 2. So an A1D1 is both sides lose a step. Surviving defenders retreat 2 or conduct a determined defense. Okay, we'll lose a step for both sides, and for the Rangers that is an elimination. Now we have to conduct a determined defense or retreat. We will do the determined defense. Can't really put anything in to support that. We are elite, so it's going to be a +1 for being elite. And we have a 2, moves it up to a 3. We're in a city. That is a partial success, meaning we have another city battle delaying the advance of the Germans. Oh, okie dokie. Right, that is interesting. But that is also the end of combat, so let's do recovery. Remove that. ASU point. Yeah, that's 1, 2, and 3. So that'd be 1, 2, and 3. And from there, we check supply. Don't need that counter anymore. Supply is good all round for the Germans. Therefore, we move on to the Allied phase. Okay, reinforcements for the Allies. They do not have any. They don't get any at all until next turn. Meaning, we just go straight to the ASUs with supply points. We do have 1 ASU that could be flipped, which I will do with that supply point over here. Oh, in fact, there's one underneath as well. Okay. And in fact, which one shall I flip? The division or the core? Probably the core, a bit more flexibility. Okay. The movement phase then. Oh, that's so harsh, having lost that beachhead. That's really harsh. Right, okay. Need to try and get off that beach as the Americans, and of course reclaim that VP hex. As the Commonwealth, we need to try to kind of free a gap through the mountains. I mean, it's horrible. There's like a gap here, smaller gap here, and obviously Salerno, there's a mountain pass, but that's slow. We could potentially go up the mountain pass, take a bit of time, a couple of turns at least, and then to Avellino, because we will get some glider units, or some airborne units. I can't remember if they're gliders or airborne, but they will drop outside Avellino next couple of turns, meaning we should be able to take Avellino. Okay, so long-term plan for the Allies: get off the beaches, try and come up here, I think, with some units left behind to defend the beachheads. Oh, that's probably going to be bad. Let's not do that. There's too much risk of the Germans getting to the beachheads. Having just lost one, we don't want to lose any more. Movement. Let's just move these guys here. Just 1. We can attack next turn. This bigger stack here, we will also... Oh, that is all tanks. Okay. So how are we going to do that? So that's going to be 2. I'll leave 1 behind. That's going to be 2, 3, 3, and then 4. Okay, have to use the road because it costs more to move over the hilly terrain. So now we have some defensive support for the any potential attack here, or some attacking support here. American movement, I think, is pretty much done. The next thing to think about is the Commonwealth. Now we are basically needing to get onto the hills, really, because once we're on the hills, it becomes a lot more challenging for the Germans to really take out the kind of the strength losses like you can in the clearer terrain down here, as we kind of just saw there. The trick, though, is to do that while maintaining control over the VP hexes and not giving up the beachheads or putting the beachheads at risk. I don't think I'll move anywhere using the city battle up here. I'll just leave that where it is. That can stay there until such time as the Germans either take it or we can reinforce it as the Allies. They're kind of going to have to hold on a little bit. They're in supply, the Rangers, so that's okay. That's just here. Salerno will be acting as a blocking mechanism coming down this kind of northern edge, northern flank, which means we need to try to take the city of Batoplagia and have more units up on the hills. I think that's perfectly doable. How are we going to do that? So here we have the 56th and a tank division attached. We have a couple of fairly decent sized infantry divisions there, all part of the 56th, plus the 46th just there. So we've got a 46th ASU has not been fired. Sorry, has been fired. The core ASU is ready. Underneath there, potentially, I think I saw another one. Oh, that's a fired 56th. Okay. So let us, first things first, let's get somebody surrounding that city of Batoplagia and really begin to take that city from the Germans. So what I'll do in order to do that, I'll just move up here for one with the 46th Infantry, bring both of these bigger divisions here to the edge of the city. Move the ASU, core ASU, to make sure we keep the airfield, and then underneath there is actually an infantry division. I'm going to bring that round, so 1, 2, 3, because I'm going to try and do the same thing that they just did to me up here. That's in the city. It is also an alone ASU. Okay, that should work quite nicely. I'll leave these guys here for now until we see the outcome of this. The retreat path for the tanks here, should it happen, is actually quite tricky because they're going to go through 8 zones of control in both cases. Okay, let's see how that goes. I think movement's done. Moving into combat. The first combat I want to do is actually going to be this ASU here. That's going to be 5 against the 1. Now, infantry type units do get the defensive buff, but I don't think the ASUs do. No, they don't. They don't get the buff for the city either. So it's going to be a straight 5 to 1. I won't put anything in. I don't have anything to put in anyway, apart from that core ASU, which is currently sat here, and I'll use that for the city. So let's just chuck that on. Oh my word, that is awful, isn't it? How can they fluff that? So that's a 1 on a 5 to 1, which is DR2. Defender either retreats 2 and becomes disrupted or conducts a determined defense. I'm just going to take the opportunity to retreat, I think. It'd be far more sensible to retreat than try to defend with an ASU. Assuming, of course, you can, which, top of my head, I'm not 100% sure that you actually can. So let me just retreat back, I guess. Okay. Retreat 2 hexes. 2 straight hexes. I'll just go 1 and then 2. This one will advance into that city, and that's where we will stop with that unit there in Naboli. Next up, we have the combat here as a city battle currently, which I believe we just treat as a regular battle. Next time, it's a holding action. Okay, the Germans are going to defend on a 6 with the tank shift if it's applicable. Okay, so that's quite a powerful thing to try and attack against. We are going to be attacking with 8 as the main attacking force. Okay. 8 as the main attacking force, but without the tank shift, or the main attacking force being worth 5, but the Germans will defend on a 6 with a defensive tank shift. So we would need to attack with a group of units with a tank to cancel that out, or we just need to hope we can find a way of moving that penalty almost as the attacker. So the choices are: the main attacking force is this relatively weak couple of units here, just 5, but the tank shift would cancel out, be a 1-to-1. Here we have 8. Oh, actually, no, it would be 5, 9, plus the extra ones here, so it would be 9. Okay, the main attacking force is this one, which is going to be 5 with the tanks. Plus that is going to be an additional 4, so that's going to be 9. Tank shift is cancelled out, so it's 9 versus 6, which would normally be something like a 3-to-2, but here we're going to be a 2-to-1. And then we flip the core ASU over for a 3-to-1. Okay, 3-to-1 in the city. We already have the city battle marker on, but that's only applicable if we worry about a determined defence next time. So that's a 4 on a 3-to-1, which is DR2. Defender either retreats 2 hexes and becomes disrupted or conducts determined defence. We will conduct the determined defence. The top one will be the lead unit, and we will roll, for the city. We have a 1, meaning we lose a step on the lead unit, which is going to be eliminated, and then we still have to do the retreat. Okay, we have a problem, because the Germans cannot retreat without going through zones of control in every direction, basically. So the first one's okay, the one after that is a major problem. If the first one's okay, we're going to have to come down here like that. Just check that that's okay. We can retreat across that zone of control, but we couldn't go across a second one, so from here to here wouldn't work, from here to here wouldn't work. So our only course of retreat is this way, which is fine. But we do need to pop on that disrupted counter, and now we are relatively in the open there as a German panzer division on its own. Ooh, that's not so good. Okay, the main attacking force, we're not going to breakthrough combat. I want the VPs more than anything, but that tank unit, okay, it'll be disrupted for the next turn, so it'll be the end of the next turn that we'll need to worry about whether or not that tank unit can get to our ASUs. Ooh, do I risk it? Do I just go into here, or do I move? Do you know what? I'm going to... I do want that point, so let's just go there for now, leaving the... what do I do? What to do? Oh, this is tricky. I could grab the point next turn, that's the thing. There's no harm in that, leaving that as a German one for now. We won't be 5 points off a total of 6, that's for sure. So yeah, let's just go here and make sure that tank cannot advance towards her beachhead. We won't get through here if they try to, because of the Zoc bond, but let's just pop that marker on just so that we definitely remember that that is a German controlled hex. Okay, combat done in the south, or in the centre. There is the option of combat here that I'm just not going to worry about that for now. Just leave that, I think. What are we on? We've got defence of 6 with an elite. We would have a attacking strength of 6, that'd be 1-to-1. There's no support from ASUs. We do have the tank shift, so that's just 1 column shift. No, I think we won't attack there. I want to use the column shifts as much as possible. Okay, let's stop there. The city battle's not happening. Up here, there's nothing to do with the Rangers. City battle wouldn't happen as such, but I'm not going to attack out with those. Not going to attack out with these either. They're going to stay put, meaning combat for the Allied side is done. There's no markers to remove for the Allies, meaning we just check supply. Everybody is in supply. Everyone can go back to a beachhead unaffected. Oh, actually, can they? We can't draw supply through there. Oh, that's a problem. I think this guy's out of supply. So we can't draw supply overland through there. We can't draw it through his enemy zone of control at all through the road. So possibly we are out of supply because zone of control around here. We could go overland. There's 2 zones of control for the overland portion as well. Oh, that is out of supply. Damn it. That's not cool. That is out of supply. And my concern now is that it's actually isolated. Oh, that was a mistake, wasn't it? That was a mistake. Okay, that was very much a mistake. I should have gone and taken that city. Oh, that was very silly. But it is what it is. Are we totally out of supply and therefore isolated, though? That's the next question, isn't it? Overland portion. It's a bit gaming it a little bit, but we could kind of draw the overland portion this way, which would just be a bit gaming it a bit. Oh, I think we're isolated. Okay, let's roll for the isolation attrition. A 4, meaning we lose a step. Oh, that's so annoying. I can't believe I did that, but at least we will hopefully at the end of next turn remove any concern about that. I can't believe that was so silly. Anyway, VP check. We have 1, 2. Oh, can the isolated units control? That's another good question. I don't know the answer to off the top of my head. Well, there's nothing on the player aid to say that they can't, so I'm going to assume that they can. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, minus 1, 2. So that's only 4. Oh, that's not so good. That's not so good at all. As the Allies, we've actually dropped below the threshold, which is a 6 threshold, meaning we are not doing too well as the Allies right now. Okay, but that is the end of the turn, and we'll have a think about what to do next as the Allies. That will come in turn 5 though, and that will be next time. So I'll see you then.